the psalm of the deathless city, or the anatomy of a phoenix that feeds on empires, a prayer of witness in 8 descending circles with prologue and doxology, drawn from the canonical, the apocryphal, the forbidden, and the buried, by John Zerga Jr., the heavy metal prophet. Prologue: the descent begins. O God, O Lord of hosts, O maker of the pleroma and the depths beneath it, O you who were before the watchers fell, and will be after the last empire is ash, hear my testimony, for I have descended into a knowledge that burns, and I cannot unlearn what I have seen. It is in me now, O God, the knowing. It is in me the way a heartbeat is in a chest, the way a burial is in a coffin, the way a scream is in a throat that has forgotten how to open. I did not want this knowledge. I went looking for an answer, and the answer crawled inside me and will not leave. They asked me a question, O Lord, your children, your confused and fumbling children. They asked me, what nation is Mystery Babylon? What country is the great whore? What flag does she fly? And I went looking for the answer, O God. I searched the scrolls you inspired, and the scrolls your councils buried. I read the prophets you validated, and the seers your priests burned. I descended circle by circle into the question, like a man descending a staircase in a house he thought he knew, only to discover that the staircase keeps going, deeper than the foundation, deeper than the bedrock, into a geometry that should not exist beneath a house this size. This is the threshold, O God. I have not yet descended. I am standing at the top of the staircase, looking down, and I can already smell what is at the bottom. And at the bottom, O Lord, I found something that was not an answer. I found something that was alive, and it had been alive for longer than any nation I was taught to suspect. And I must confess, O God, before I give you the full testimony, that I am angry, not at the beast. The beast does what beasts do. I am angry at the question I cannot stop asking. Why do you permit it, O Lord? Why does the phoenix get a new body every time? Why do you weigh the ages and measure the times and allow the cycle to continue turning while your children grind between its gears? Habakkuk asked you the same thing. How long, Lord, must I call for help? But you do not listen. Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Habakkuk 1 verses 2 and 3, and you answered Habakkuk. You said, write the vision down. Make it plain. It has an appointed time. It will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. Habakkuk 2 verses 2 and 3, so I am writing it down, O God. I am making it plain, and I am waiting. But I confess the waiting feels like complicity. Hear me, O God. Hear me. For the horror is not that Babylon exists somewhere out there. In some enemy capital your people can bomb into righteousness. The horror, O Lord, is that the call is coming from inside the house. The horror is that it has always been coming from inside the house. The horror is that the house was built by the thing that is calling. She does not die, O Lord. She does not die. She merely changes her dress and walks into the next funeral. How long, O God? How long? Hashtag circle I hashtag the naming of the thing that should not be hashtag O Lord. Before Nimrod laid his first brick, before the mortar of Shinar was mixed with the spit of enslaved tongues, something fell from your presence. Your prophet Isaiah saw it. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Isaiah 14 verse 12. And the fallen thing spoke from the crater of its own impact. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. Isaiah 14 verse 14. O God, did you hear what it said? Not I will oppose the Most High. I will make myself like the Most High. The ambition was never destruction, O Lord. The ambition was counterfeiting, to build a system that looks like your kingdom, smells like your kingdom, sings the same hymns as your kingdom, but runs on a completely different engine, the engine of extraction, the engine of consumption, the engine that converts the souls you fashioned with your own breath into fuel, and calls the exhaust progress. And the watchers came down on Hermon, O God, 200 strong, not drifting like angels in paintings, not descending on beams of golden light, but crashing, O Lord, like 200 iron meteors splitting the mountain's spine on impact. The cedars of Lebanon bent from the shock wave. The animals fled, and they say the rivers reversed for 3 days. And when the dust settled, there they stood, 200 warlords in stolen flesh, their eyes still burning with the memory of altitudes they had forfeited forever. And they swore their oath in the name of their own annihilation. And they taught your children the technologies of empire, metallurgy, not for plowshares, but for the blade, the mace, the spear point that would open a man's belly like a wineskin. Cosmetics not for beauty, but for deception, for the painted mask. That makes the predator look like the lover. Astrology, not for wonder, but for dominion. for the knowledge that the stars are clocks, and clocks are tools, and tools are weapons. Root cutting for sorcery, the original pharmaceutical industry, the first corporation that understood you can enslave a people faster through their appetites than through their chains. 1 Enoch 8 to 1 3. The book of the watchers, and the earth screamed, O Lord. Your own earth screamed, the soil became a throat. The blood of the slain became a voice, and that voice filed a lawsuit in your court. 1 Enoch 9:110, and you sent the flood, and we said it is over. But it was not over, was it, O God? For the book of Jubilees records the postscript. Mastema, chief of the damned spirits, stood before your throne and negotiated. Leave me a tenth of the spirits under my authority. If none are left for me, I shall not be able to exercise the authority of my will among humanity. Jubilees 10:8, 9, and you granted it, O Lord. A tenth remained. And I do not question your wisdom, O God, but I confess I tremble at your arithmetic. For those spirits became the middle management of every empire since, the operating system that survives every hardware crash. And the apocalypse of Abraham names their field commander, O God, Azazel, the scapegoat of Leviticus made cosmic, the corrupter who teaches humanity not merely to sin, but to build systems that sin on their behalf, so the individual can keep his hands clean while the institution does the strangling. Apocalypse of Abraham 13:14. Cf. 1 Enoch 10:4. 8. And you showed Abraham, O Lord, that Azazel's domain was not some corner of the underworld. It was the earth itself, dressed in commerce, dressed in governance, dressed in religion, dressed in everything that makes captivity look like culture. The thing that fell from your heaven did not land in Babylon, O Lord. It landed in the idea of Babylon. And ideas, unlike cities, do not burn. Ideas do not drown. Ideas do not scatter at Babel. Ideas simply find new mouths to speak them and new hands to build their monuments. She does not die, O Lord. She does not die. She merely changes her dress and walks into the next funeral. How long, O God? How long? Circle to the whore in the Holy of Holies, O God. This is where my testimony gets difficult. This is where I must report what I found in your own house. Because the first nation to fully host the Phoenix, O Lord, was not a pagan empire. It was your chosen bride. It was Jerusalem. Your prophet Ezekiel recorded the vision you gave him, a vision so obscene, so graphically violent in its metaphor, that most of your pastors skip it like a crime scene photo. You found Israel as a newborn thrown in a field, still covered in birth blood. You washed her, O God, clothed her, crowned her, married her, and your fame spread among the nations on account of your beauty, because the splendor I had given you made your beauty perfect. Ezekiel 16, verse 14. And then she opened her legs to every passing empire, O Lord, not because she was conquered, because she was hungry. She paid her lovers to come to her, the reverse of every other prostitute in history. Ezekiel 16, verses 33 and 34. O God, the killer was not the stranger. The killer was your daughter, the one who slept in your bed, who ate at your table, who wore your ring and spent your dowry on her own degradation. And the blood, O Lord, the blood of your own messengers. I can smell it, O God. 3,000 years old, and I can smell it. Zechariah, butchered between the altar and the sanctuary, the blade entering beneath his ribs while the incense was still smoking, his blood pooling on the temple stones, mixing with the lamb's blood that was supposed to be the only blood those stones ever tasted. Isaiah sawn in half by Manasseh with a wooden saw, the teeth biting into collarbone. The sound of it, O God, the sound of a prophet being unzipped by the nation he was sent to save. Jeremiah, thrown into a cistern of mud by priests who preferred comfortable lies to uncomfortable surgery, sinking to his armpits in the dark, waiting for rescue or suffocation, whichever the comfortable priests decided was more convenient. Matthew 23, verse 35. Lives of the Prophets. Ascension of Isaiah 5, verses 1 and 14, and your own son, standing on the Mount of Olives, weeping, looked at Jerusalem and said, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you. Matthew 23, verse 37, and John's Revelation calls the great city where also our Lord was crucified. Revelation 11, verse 8, which city crucified your Son, O God, not Rome. Rome supplied the nails and the labor. Jerusalem supplied the verdict and the crowd. And Baruch, weeping over the ashes of your temple, understood the fire that consumed Jerusalem was not an invasion, O Lord. It was an autoimmune response. The body attacked itself because the parasite inside had so thoroughly compromised the immune system that the body could no longer distinguish self from infection. 2 Baruch 6, 8. The phoenix wore Jerusalem's robes until the robes caught fire, O God. Then she walked naked into Rome and found a new wardrobe waiting. She does not die, O Lord. She does not die. She merely changes her dress and walks into the next funeral. How long, O God? How long? Circle 3, the iron teeth in the dark, O Lord. The Essenes saw her coming, your faithful remnant hunkered in their desert caves, copying your scrolls by oil lamp, while the world partied itself to death. The sons of Zadok wrote of the Kittim, the nation of iron teeth that would devour the earth and trample your holy ones under hooves shod in bronze. Pesher Habakkuk 9, War Scroll I, and the Kittim came, O God, and they were Rome, and Rome did not merely conquer, Rome digested. Her legions did not march, they masticated. They crossed the Rhine with 70 pounds of kit on their backs, and the bones of Carthage still stuck between their teeth. They crucified 6,000 slaves along the Appian Way after Spartacus, a screaming corridor of dying men stretching for 130 miles, and called it a lesson, O God, called it infrastructure, called it peace. She swallowed Greece's philosophy and excreted jurisprudence. She swallowed Egypt's mystery cults and excreted state religion. She swallowed your name, O Lord, and excreted a department of religious affairs. Empires are meat, O God. They are caloric intake for something older than any flag. They rise fat, they grow proud, they are consumed, and the thing that consumed them licks its teeth and looks for the next plate. The Sibylline oracle saw it. A great star shall fall from heaven into the divine sea, and burn up the deep sea and Babylon itself and the land of Italy, on account of which many holy faithful Hebrews and a true people perished. Sibylline oracles v. 155, 161, and Ezra saw the eagle with 3 heads, O Lord, and your angel decoded it. The 4th kingdom from Daniel's vision, the kingdom of iron that crushes everything it touches, including eventually itself, for Ezra 11, 12, Daniel 7 verse 7, and the Assumption of Moses, written under Roman boot leather. Devils will come ruling over them, and it will not be known that they are impious. From sunrise to sunset they shall say, we shall have feasts and luxury, and we shall eat and drink, and we shall consider ourselves as princes. Assumption of Moses 7:3, 8, and Peter, O God, writing from the belly of the beast, did not call her Rome. He called her Babylon, 1 Peter 5 verse 13, because Peter recognized the tenant, O Lord, even in a new apartment. And even if Peter was sitting in literal Babylon, O God, in the ruins of Nebuchadnezzar's city, dust blowing through broken palaces, the point still stands. The name outlived the city. Babylon, the place, was dead. Babylon, the principal, was writing letters. And John, exiled to Patmos, half-starved, scorched by vision, saw the woman drunk on the blood of your saints, sitting on 7 hills. And your angel said, the woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. Revelation 17, verses 6 and 9, 18. But notice, O Lord, your angel did not say the woman is Rome. He said the woman is the great city, because the city is not coordinates, O God. The city is a system. Rome was just the mailing address where the system received its correspondence in the 1st century. And when Rome burned Visigoths, entropy, lead pipes, and hubris, we said, Babylon is fallen. It is finished, but it was not finished, O God. The phoenix does not live in the city. The phoenix lives in the principle of the city. And principles do not require zip codes, O Lord. They require only hosts. She does not die, O Lord. She does not die. She merely changes her dress and walks into the next funeral. How long, O God? How long? Circle for the merchant queen on her throne of receipts, O God. Now I must report what your apostle John described, a body that had not been born yet when he wrote it, the nation 2,000 years in his future, and his description reads like a satellite photograph of our Tuesday afternoon. The merchants of the earth grew rich from the power of her luxurious living. Revelation 18 verse 3, cargo of gold, silver, jewels, pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, all kinds of scented wood, ivory, costly wood, bronze, iron, marble, cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, and slaves, that is, human souls. Revelation 18 verses 12 and 13, O Lord. That cargo manifest starts with luxury and ends with human trafficking. It starts with what we want and ends with what we are in her ledger. A commodity, a SKU number, a soul with a barcode, and she sits on her throne and whispers to herself, I sit as a queen. I am no widow. Mourning I shall never see. Revelation 18 verse 7. What nation says this? O God, what empire has this tattooed on its psyche? What civilization believes, with the religious certainty of a fundamentalist at a tent revival, that it is exceptional, that the rules of history apply to everyone else, that the phoenix will burn every other nest but theirs? But I must be honest in your presence, O Lord. This cargo manifest has fit more than one nation across the centuries. Rome's merchant ships carried the same inventory from Alexandria to Ostia. The Dutch East India Company traded in spice, silk, and enslaved bodies. The British Empire's ledgers ended with the same final line item: human souls. The manifest does not identify the tenant, O God. The manifest describes the symptoms of the tenancy, and the symptoms recur in every host. Your sage in the wisdom of Solomon saw the philosophy that every host nation eventually adopts, the creed of the consumed. Let us oppress the righteous poor. Let us not spare the widow or regard the gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be our law of justice, for what is weak proves itself to be useless. Wisdom of Solomon 2:10-11. That, O Lord, is Babylon's mission statement in 4 lines: strength as law, weakness as worthlessness. And every nation that adopts this creed has already signed the lease. The phoenix has already moved in. The phoenix is already redecorating. Your sage Sirach saw the engine 2 millennia before anyone built a stock exchange. What peace is there between the hyena and the dog, and what peace between the rich and the poor? As the wild donkey is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the poor are feeding grounds for the rich. Sirach 13:18-19. Feeding grounds. O Lord, not labor markets, not human resources, feeding grounds. Your children exist in the grammar of Babylon as a food source, as calories for the system. And your prophet Amos, the shepherd with no seminary degree, the blue-collar prophet who smelled like livestock and spoke like lightning thundered. They sell the innocent for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals. Amos 2:6. For a pair of sandals, O God, for a sneaker contract, for quarterly earnings. The currency changes. The exchange rate of human dignity does not. And here, O Lord, is the part of my testimony I did not want to give. Here is where the knife turns. I looked at my hands, O God. I am holding a device assembled by indentured labor. I am wearing cotton harvested by captive fingers. I ate grain this morning subsidized by a system that pays farmers to destroy surplus, while your children starve 3 time zones away. O Lord, I am not looking at Babylon. I am her circulatory system. Every dollar I spend is a red blood cell. Every transaction is a heartbeat. Every purchase is a prayer whispered in the cathedral of consumption. And I, O God, I am the congregation. And she says to her cells what every host body says: this is normal. This is health. This is how things work. Forgive me, O God, for I have circulated. I have known the truth and bought the product anyway. I have read the label and ignored the country of origin. I have signed petitions with one hand and swiped a credit card with the other, funding the very machine the petition was addressed to. I have called myself awake while sleeping in her bed. I have called myself free while paying her rent. She does not die, O Lord. She does not die. She merely changes her dress and walks into the next funeral. How long, O God? How long? Circle V the architecture behind the architecture, O God. Now I descend below the basement, below the foundation, below the bedrock, into the place where the angles stop adding up, O Lord, where the corridors are longer on the inside than the outside, where the walls breathe when I am not looking at them directly, where the architecture suggests a geometry that was not designed for human minds to navigate. I am telling you this, O God, because I need you to know. The seeing has cost me something. I can feel it. Each circle has taken a piece of the scaffolding that held my understanding of the world upright, and I am running out of scaffolding. Down here, O Lord, a different set of witnesses, witnesses your councils tried to burn, bury, and forget. Map the circuitry that your canonical prophets could only feel humming through the walls. I must confess something before I go further, O Lord. The witnesses in this circle do not agree with the witnesses above. Your prophets in circles I through 4 believed in a good creation corrupted. The seers of this circle believed the creation itself was the corruption, that the material world is not a garden gone wrong, but a prison built right, by a warden who calls himself God. These 2 testimonies contradict each other, O Lord. I will not pretend they do not, and I must answer a question that rises from this contradiction, O God. If these witnesses say the material creator is a blind impostor, then who am I praying to? I am praying to you, O Lord, the God above the ceiling the demiurge mistakes for the sky, the invisible spirit, the depth before the depths, the one the Gnostics called the monad, the first father, the source that even the blind architect dimly mirrors without knowing he is a mirror. You are not the warden, O God. You are the one the warden plagiarizes. So when I say the Lord sent the flood or the Lord chose Israel, I am not confused, O God. I know the operator was blind, but the blind operator was your instrument whether he knew it or not. The way a hammer does not need to see the nail to drive it home. He built the cage, O Lord. but the cage was never outside your reach. But I report to you what I observed. The witnesses disagree on the shape of the cage. They do not disagree that it is a cage, and that dissonance, that friction between the canonical and the buried, is itself part of the horror. For if even the prophets cannot agree on the anatomy of the beast, what chance does our cable news have? Now, the testimony in a cave after the resurrection, the risen Christ sat with John and gave him not the public sermon, not the parable wrapped in fishing metaphors, but the schematic, the blueprint, the engineering document. He told him a story, O Lord. Before the world was formed, a being called Sophia Wisdom tried to create without her consort, without the consent of the invisible Spirit, and her creation came out wrong, misshapen, blind, a lion-faced serpent thrashing in the dark. And this botched thing, this cosmic stillbirth, looked out at the void, and having no frame of reference, no mirror, no parent to correct him, declared, I am God, and there is no other God beside me. Apocryphon of John 11, verses 18 and 22, and a voice came from above him, from the pleroma, the fullness. You are mistaken, Samuel. Hypostasis of the Archons 86:30, 31 Samuel. The blind God, the God of the blind. And every empire that has ever declared there is no authority above me, O Lord, has spoken with that same tongue. The hypostasis of the archons reveals, O God, that the rulers of this world are not merely corrupt men, they are principalities, archonic powers who built the material cage and installed themselves as wardens. Hypostasis of the archons 86:93. Cf. Ephesians 6 verse 12, and on the origin of the world confirms. The archons did not just build governments, O Lord, they built the concept of government. They did not just create commerce. They created the appetite for commerce. They did not just construct prisons. They constructed the longing that makes your children walk into the prison thinking it is a shopping mall. On the origin of the world 109, and the Gospel of Philip records the sentence that should be carved into the lintel of every courthouse and burned into the lobby floor of every parliament. The archons wanted to deceive humanity because they saw that humanity had kinship with the truly good. They took the name of those that are good and gave it to those that are not good. A Gospel of Philip 54:18-24. They switched the labels. Oh God. Freedom means managed captivity. Democracy means curated consent. Liberation means new management. Peace means the absence of visible resistance. Justice means the legal protection of the powerful from the consequences of their power. And here's what breaks something in my mind, O Lord. The archons do not hate us. Hatred would require them to notice us as beings. We are not enemies to them, O God. We are not rebels. We are not threats. We are a resource, a calorie, the unit of luminous energy to be harvested the way a fungus harvests a dead tree, not with malice, not with passion, but with a blind, metabolic indifference of a system that does not need to be conscious to consume. That, O Lord, is worse than evil. Evil at least acknowledges your existence. This is something beneath evil. This is machinery, and the machinery does not care if you scream inside it any more than a millstone cares about the wheat. This, O Lord, is Babylon's true infrastructure. Not brick, not steel, not legislation, language. Babylon is built of naming. Babylon is built of inversion. She is the system that calls the cage civilization and calls the soul scream for freedom mental illness. Your Essenes called her architects the builders of the wall who have followed after precept, precept being the spooter of lies. Damascus document 4:1920 and Paul, your Pharisee turned apostle, named the operators. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6 verse 12, high places, O Lord, not alleyways, not the places they tell us to fear. The wickedness is in the penthouse, the boardroom, the sanctuary. The wickedness wears a tie and files its taxes on time and donates to charity, so the charity can manage the damage it caused. She does not die, O Lord, she does not die. She merely changes her dress and walks into the next funeral. How long, O God, how long? Circle 6, the molting, O Lord. I have mapped the cycle now, and I cannot unsee it. Every nation that ever called itself eternal is now a chapter heading in a book its citizens never believed applied to them. They rose fat, they grew proud, they were consumed, and the thing that consumed them looked for the next plate. In circle 3, O Lord, I showed you one kingdom wearing the iron robe, the fourth beast, the iron teeth in the dark. Now I see the iron was never one kingdom. The iron was the thread. Your prophet Daniel saw the entire sequence in a single statue, O God, not 5 statues, but one, head of gold, chest of silver, belly of bronze, legs of iron, feet of clay and iron. Daniel 2 verses 31 and 45, one body, multiple metals, a single architecture wearing different costumes the way a single woman wears different dresses to different funerals, O Lord, and each funeral is one she caused. The Tower of Babel fell. The system moved to Egypt. Egypt fell, her chariots rusting in the Red Sea mud, her firstborn cold in their beds, and the system moved to Assyria. Assyria fell, Nineveh's walls breached, her libraries burning, the stele of her conquests toppling face first into the Tigris, and the system spoke Babylonian. Babylon fell, Belshazzar reading the handwriting on the wall with a wine glass still in his trembling fist, and the system wore Persian robes. Persia fell, Persepolis torched by a Macedonian boy king drunk on his own legend, and the system quoted Aristotle. Greece fell, her philosophers sold into slavery by the same barbarians they had mocked as subhuman, and the system marched in Roman legions. Rome fell, her aqueducts cracking, her forums overrun by men who wore the pelts of wolves and worshipped different thunder, and the system wore the mitre. The church wed the monarchy, O Lord, and for 1,000 years they shared the same bed, while each dreamed of smothering the other. And when the church's temporal power crumbled, her inquisitors becoming the very heretics they had burned, and the crowns that outlived her were guillotined by the mobs they had starved for centuries, the system shed both robes at once and wore the corporation's suit. And for Ezra records your angels' cold arithmetic, O God. The Most High has weighed the age, and measured the times, and numbered the seasons, and he will not move or disturb them until the determined measure is fulfilled. For Ezra 4 verses 36 and 37, so the phoenix has a finite number of bodies, O Lord. You have numbered them. You have weighed the age. It will wear each one. It will burn each one. But the number is not infinite. The measure will be fulfilled. And between each death and each rebirth, O God, in that sliver of time thinner than a prophet's last breath, the thing is visible in its true form. Stripped of its national costume, naked between empires, it stands as what it always was, a hunger with architecture, a void that organizes, a mouth that builds cities around itself so the food walks involuntarily. And each generation mistakes the current body for the first, O Lord, and each generation mistakes the current system for the permanent, and each generation mistakes the cage for the cosmos. The beating I hear, O God, is not beneath one floorboard. It is beneath every floorboard. It is the floor itself, and the pulse is not the heart of a dead empire. It is the pulse of the thing that killed it, drumming its fingers on the underside of my reality, waiting for me to pull up the boards, and finally look. O God, I have looked. I wish I had not looked. The knowledge is a room, O Lord, and the room is getting smaller. Every circle I descend, the walls contract. Every truth I uncover nails another board over the window. I am being buried alive inside my own testimony, and I cannot stop testifying, the way a man with a body beneath his floorboards cannot stop hearing the heartbeat, cannot stop talking, cannot stop confessing, because the silence is worse than the telling, and the telling is worse than the silence, and both are worse than the beating, the beating that will not stop. She does not die, O Lord. She does not die. She merely changes her dress and walks into the next funeral. How long, O God? How long? Circle 7, the recognition, O Lord. I set out to find a name. I wanted to point at a flag and say, that one, O God, that is Babylon. And you have shown me that every identification was correct, O Lord, and every identification was a flashlight shining on one tentacle of a creature so vast that no single century could see it whole. I have tried to see it whole, O God. I have tried, but the mind was not built for this. It is like standing at the edge of a canyon in the dark and dropping a stone and never hearing it land. It is like staring at a wall and slowly realizing the wall is breathing. The wall is a membrane. The wall is the skin of something so large that what you thought was the room is the inside of its mouth, and what you thought was the floor is its tongue, and what you thought was your life is the interval between its swallowing and its digestion. Babylon is not a nation, O God. Babylon is a tendency. She is the thing that moves in when a civilization reaches critical mass, when prosperity outpaces conscience, when technology outpaces theology, when the ability to build outpaces the willingness to ask what is being built and who it devours. She was in Babel when the bricks were wet, O Lord. She was in Jerusalem when the priests charged admission to you. She was in Rome when the Senate auctioned the purple. She is in whatever nation currently exports more weapons than food. incarcerates more bodies than it educates minds, calls its consumption growth, and its exploitation development. And here, O God, is the turn of the knife I was not prepared for. I cannot leave Babylon by leaving a country, O Lord, because Babylon is not a country. Babylon is a frequency, and the frequency plays inside my skull every time I choose comfort over truth, every time I choose tribe over justice, every time I choose the lie that feels like home over the truth that feels like exile. Your Essenes understood this, O Lord. Their community rule names the two frequencies by name. God has appointed for humanity two spirits in which to walk until the time of his visitation, the spirits of truth and falsehood. Those born of truth spring from a fountain of light, but those born of falsehood spring from a source of darkness. All the children of righteousness are ruled by the Prince of Light and walk in the ways of light. But all the children of falsehood are ruled by the angel of darkness and walk in the ways of darkness. Community Rule 3:17-21 Two spirits, O God, not two nations, not two political parties, two spirits warring inside every human chest. The battlefield is not a country. The battlefield is a person. And the Essenes, to their eternal credit, O Lord, tried to come out of her physically. They walked into the desert. They built Qumran. They separated from the corrupted temple, the compromised priesthood, the entire machinery of collaboration with Rome. They did everything right, O God, and Rome destroyed Qumran anyway. The 10th Legion marched through in 68 AD and left it in ruins, which teaches me, O Lord, that physical withdrawal is necessary but not sufficient. You can leave the country. You cannot leave the frequency until the frequency leaves you, and it will not leave willingly. It must be starved out of the body the way a parasite is starved, not by fleeing the geography, but by refusing to feed the hunger. The Testament of Solomon records that the demons do not merely inhabit buildings and bodies, O Lord, they inhabit systems of thought. They are organizational, procedural. They have workflows and hierarchies. They file paperwork in triplicate. They are HR departments from the Abyss Testament of Solomon 2:18, and the Shepherd of Hermas confirms. Two towers are being built simultaneously in the same city, O God, using the same language, sometimes the same materials. One is Jerusalem descending from your heaven. The other is Babylon ascending from the pit, Shepherd of Hermas, Vision 3, and they overlap, O Lord. And that is the horror. I am always in both. Every breath is a vote. Every dollar is a ballot. Every silence of mine in the face of injustice is a hymn I have sung in Babylon's choir. Forgive me, O God, for I have been silent, for I have known and been silent, for I have seen and been silent, for I have heard the beating beneath the boards, and told myself it was the plumbing, it was the wind, it was anything, O God, other than what it was. She does not die, O Lord. She does not die. She merely changes her dress and walks into the next funeral. How long, O God? How long? Circulate the voice from above the cage, and yet, O God, and yet there is a voice, not the frequency of the cage, not the hum of the archons, not the phoenix's lullaby that sounds like prosperity and tastes like slavery. There is another voice, O Lord, your voice, older than the fall, older than the watchers, older than the moment the blind God opened his counterfeit mouth and declared himself Lord of an empty room. And your voice says, come out of her, my people, so that you do not share in her sins, so that you do not receive her plagues. Revelation 18, verse 4, come out. Not bomb her, not vote her out, not reform her from within. Come out. And what does come out mean, O God, when Babylon is not a country but a frequency? When the cage is not a geography but a grammar? Your prophets told me, and they were specific, O Lord. Amos did not speak in abstractions.